Thank you for joining us on this unusual and intriguing evening. Some of you may remember me long before I became a few years ago president of our Festival Board of Trustees. In fact, I first came to Sunriver along with my wife, Ruth, and 2 young children in 1981. It was then that I became concertmaster of our festival orchestra. That lasted 26 years until I retired in 2007. Our family fell in love with Sunriver, Bend, and Central Oregon. Professionally, I was floored by the day-to-day personality of the orchestra and its players. Warm, always encouraging to colleagues, with a healthy dose of humor and fun mixed in occasionally, and simply enjoying being in a beautiful place and playing great music. August became the favorite month of my year. What really stood out were the strong ties the orchestra musicians established with each other, along with the Sunriver and Bend communities. Many of the musicians returned year after year, renewing their bonds with colleagues, family hosts, and friendships in the community. It was really a warm family of sorts, a very happy contrast to the more formal life of their winter jobs with universities and major orchestras. To this day, all of this has not changed. My wife and I moved to Bend in 2012 to be close to our daughter, Ariana. Soon after, I was invited to join the festival board. It was a wake-up call to see the other side of the coin. Every musician should spend a year or 2 on a nonprofit board. The view is a revelation. Fortunately, we have a wonderful board who, along with Megan, deeply believe in our mission of artistic excellence and educational outreach. The tug of war between always going forward, but at the same time honoring fiscal restraint, is an edgy, spirited, and usually it's bloodless as well. The bottom line is the festival is nothing without you, people of all ages who enjoy the timeless solace of beautiful music played by musicians of world-class ability who love to perform. We treasure you, and please stay safe.
Welcome to Festival Faire. We are so honored you've chosen to join us in celebrating and supporting Sunriver Music Festival's commitment to music education and world-class musical experiences. Tonight, while you're watching this video, the online auction and Fund a Scholar paddle raise continues. You are invited to visit sunrivermusic.org often to join in the auction, which stays open until August 11. Like you, we are heartbroken at the abundance of cancellations this year. We miss our orchestra. We miss soaking up the beautiful music here in the Great Hall side by side with you. We know the music will continue. In fact, we are already deep in planning for the 2021 Summer Festival. In just a few minutes, you'll get to meet our two artistic director candidates, who will both be conducting concerts here next summer. We are so excited to introduce you to Maestro Kelly Kuo and Maestro Brett Mitchell tonight. Another way we know the music will continue, it's the 25th anniversary of the Young Artists Scholarship Program. In 25 years, we have awarded almost $600,000 in scholarships. Stay tuned tonight for performances from a few of this year's virtuosic recipients. The power of this vital scholarship program is due in very large part to your generous Fund a Scholar donations received at Festival Faire each year. We need you to continue that tradition, even in this strange year, so the music can continue and the Sunriver Music Festival will be here to nurture the next generation of musicians. Thank you so much for being part of this festival family.
Hello, and thank you to the generous scholarship donors, hardworking YIS committee, and Sunriver Music Festival. Your investment in the success of Central Oregon musicians is vital, and it's an inspiring cause. So I will leave you with some music, and thank you.
Let's talk a few logistics. Tonight, you'll raise a paddle virtually online at sunrivermusic.org. That's your portal to Fund a Scholar and to the online auction, which closes August 11th. So you still have a few days to join in the bidding fun. Have you checked it out yet? It's the only place to get in on some of these experiences, such as Hunter Noack's immensely unique and popular In a Landscape concert series, sold out in just a couple days, but you could get VIP tickets at the auction. Another experience you'll find only here at Festival Faire? This year's Summer Festival was intended to be the culmination of Maestro George Hanson's 10 years with us. Sign up at the auction to join in a virtual happy hour with Maestro Hanson. George will reflect upon his years with the festival. He'll interact with participants' questions and thoughts. He'll share insights on Beethoven, Bernstein, and so much more. Or how about your own personal Uber driver for 6 months? Live music for your private gathering? The incredible David Kreitzer painting, sure to be an art collector's dream. Just go there to sunrivermusic.org, click on through to the auction site, register to bid if you haven't already, and enjoy partnering with the future of music. Technical difficulties? That's okay. We'll take care of you. Email information@sunrivermusic.org or call 541-593-1084. If you'd rather donate over the phone or mail a check, of course, that too is warmly welcomed. We are so happy to be sharing in this musical life with you.
Thank you so much, Sunriver Music Festival.
Hello to my Sunriver friends and really Sunriver family. This is George Hanson. I have been your artistic director for just about 10 years, and that time has come to a close, sadly with something of a whimper. We had, of course, a marvelous season for you planned for this year, and I'm filming this on the day when I had to open my calendar to look ahead to see what I had coming up in August, and realized I hadn't deleted all my travel and concert and rehearsal dates, which were all in my calendar. And so that added some poignance to this moment for me. It is indeed very sad. On the other hand, I've got a lot to be grateful for, I must say, as do we all. First and foremost, we must thank the people who have had the courage and the tenacity to keep this festival thriving for all these decades. I know that you've got some remarkable milestones coming up, and it's really amazing. You've all heard me say, I hope, that every community decides for itself what sort of cultural life it's going to have. And Sunriver has made that choice in a most remarkable way. I spoke to my good friend Pamela Beasley just recently, and she's one of the people I must thank most highly. She made this wonderful work an absolute joy on a personal level. So I'm very grateful to her. And of course, Megan and the whole staff, Robin and everybody else, have done a marvelous job as well. I was thinking about some highlights, and I would say, it's hard to say. I think always, for musicians, it's always the next piece. It's the piece you're working on that's always your favorite. But I would have to say our last performance last year of Brahms' Second Symphony, it would be hard to really quantify that in a way that would be meaningful to non-musicians. But that was really a mountaintop experience. And for that, I have to thank our marvelous musicians of the orchestra. What a great, great group of colleagues are there. And I do hope that I'll get up to Oregon and get a chance to say some kind of in-person goodbye, or just maintain a wonderful connection with this tremendous festival. I also want to say, as Beethoven wrote, not Schiller, he wrote, "Oh friends, not these dissonant tones. Instead, let's listen to something more pleasing." That is how I go through life, and how I'm getting through this passage of time before I can see you all again. I wish you all the best with the Festival Fair, and remember, it's up to you to decide the future of the Sunriver Music Festival. I know it's in good hands. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Kelly Kuo, and I'm so pleased to be a finalist in the Sunriver Music Festival's Music Director Search. I'm actually a native of Oregon myself, having been raised only about a 4-hour drive north of Sunriver in Hermiston, which you might know as the watermelon capital of the Pacific Northwest. The first thing I'm usually asked is how in the world my family ended up in the desert of northeastern Oregon. Well, my father got a PhD in soil chemistry from Oregon State University and landed his first jobs with agricultural consulting companies in the Tri-Cities and then Umatilla. So how did music happen as a career then? After all, I'm the eldest son born to an immigrant Asian family. Aren't I supposed to be a doctor or engineer or lawyer? Anything that provides financial security? Okay, so it's true that I wanted to be an aerospace engineer, but my parents had classical music playing in the house for as long as I can remember, so it's basically their fault. The story goes that my parents saw me pound on a plastic toy piano at a store and decided right then and there to invest in an upright piano for our home. And thanks to the music programs in the public schools and private teachers in our community, I later picked up violin and clarinet, but piano was always my primary instrument. A full-ride scholarship to the University of Oregon was ultimately what helped convince my parents to let me pursue music. That, along with the physics double major, that never really came to fruition. Sorry about that, Mom and Dad. Well, the next question is usually, how did you get into conducting? When I was doing graduate studies in New York as a pianist, I started playing for singers to earn extra money. And the voice teachers asked me if I ever thought about doing more of it. Well, it didn't take a rocket scientist to follow the open doors after that. Soon I was invited to join the Houston Grand Opera Studio, where my training as a pianist and coach included basic conducting lessons, just so we wouldn't embarrass ourselves or the company when we were assigned backstage conducting duties. My first job after that gave me a lot of opportunities to flap as an assistant conductor. It was there that I made my professional conducting debut in La Traviata. My debut was literally a trial by fire because I had only one orchestra rehearsal before that performance. But before that rehearsal, I'd only stood in front of an orchestra of any kind for a total of 45 minutes my entire life. In any case, that experience didn't scar me too much. And now I'm conducting all over the world. Though I make my home in Cincinnati, I'm still extremely passionate about the music being made and taught in my home state of Oregon. I travel here a number of times each year as artistic director of Oregon Mozart Players in Eugene, and I always enjoy the gorgeousness that is Central Oregon when I get the opportunity to visit. I am so looking forward to meeting all of you in person next summer and making music with the wonderful musicians of the Sunriver Music Festival. Until then, stay healthy.
Thank you, Sunriver Music Festival.
Sunriver Music Festival fans, Brett Mitchell here, to share with you just a bit about myself and why I'm so excited to be joining all of you next summer in Sunriver. I'm coming to you right now from our home in the foothills outside of Denver, Colorado, where my wife Angela and I have lived for the last few years while I've been music director of the Colorado Symphony. But I am first and foremost and always a Pacific Northwest boy. I was born and raised in Seattle, and my mom is originally from Roseburg. In fact, her whole side of the family still all lives in Oregon. Some of my earliest musical memories come from the summers that I spent in Oregon. By the time I was growing up, my grandparents had moved from Roseburg down to Grants Pass, and I would spend 2 or 3 weeks with them every summer. Like so many of their generation, my grandparents adored Broadway musicals, and the summer that I turned 5, 1984, my grandparents took me to my first ever live musical, The Music Man, at Rogue Community College. And I was so excited on the ride home that even when we got out of the car, 11:30 at night, I was still singing at the top of my lungs 76 trombones in the big parade. And I couldn't wait until the next morning when I could go up and down the block and tell all of my friends about this great new music I had just heard the night before. In some ways, that was really the beginning of my journey of sharing music, a journey that has since taken me from the Los Angeles Philharmonic at the Hollywood Bowl to the New Zealand Symphony Orchestra, from the Oregon Symphony to the north of Spain. But I have to tell you that I'm particularly excited and honored to be coming back home to the Pacific Northwest for another summer in Oregon to share music, this time with new friends. I can't wait to meet all of you then.
As this video comes to an end, Festival Faire continues. The auction remains open until August 11, and your generous Fund a Scholar paddle raises, well, your donations to the Young Artist Scholarship Program are warmly welcomed at any time. But during Festival Faire, August 6 through 11, your Fund a Scholar paddle raise donation is matched dollar for dollar up to $3,000, thanks to a generous friend of the festival. Thank you, all of you, for choosing to partner with the future of classical music. We look forward to seeing you again, and we know the music will continue.
Thank you.